Hello everyone, let us see about HTTP protocol. This is the agenda. First, let us see about introduction to HTTP. Next, working of HTTP, HTTP request and response model, HTTP status code, and last we see about characteristics of HTTP. Let us move on to introduction to HTTP. HTTP, abbreviated as Hypertext Transfer Protocol, was invented by Tim Berners. The Transfer Protocol is an application layer protocol for transmitting hypermedia documents such as HTML. It was designed to communicate between web browsers and web servers, but it can also communicate between two machines and can also program to access APIs. The HTTP follows a client server model with a client opening a request to the server and wait until the response from the server. The HTTP is a stateless protocol, meaning that the server does not keep any track of request data from the web client. Although there are some mechanisms like cookies that stores the information of request and response. The HTTP provides a standard between a web browser and a web server to establish communication. It creates a rules for transferring data from one computer to the other. The data that can be transferred using HTTP includes text, images, and other multimedia files. Whenever we use a web browser, we indirectly use HTTP protocol. Let us see about the working of HTTP. Say you are opening a web browser and typing a URL on the search bar. The web browser then gives the URL to the DNS server. The DNS server checks the notebook for the given URL to convert it to its appropriate IP address. Once found, the DNS server will again communicate with our web browser and with the IP address. The web browser then provides a request to the IP address. The IP address provided by the DNS indicates the server's IP address. The web client or the web browser that makes a request to the web server wait until the request gets sent to the server and a response is again given back from the server. By this model, the HTTP works. The HTTP follows the request response model as mentioned. That is, the web client, that is the web browser, provides a request to the server. The server then gives the response with the required service again to the web client. The HTTP request is the information or data that is needed by the web client to load a information such as web page on the browser. The important parameters are the information that are included in request modules are HTTP versions, URL, HTTP method, HTTP request headers, and HTTP body. The HTTP request headers generally stores the information in the form of key value pair and it should present in all the HTTP requests. These request headers provide information about the client. The HTTP request body contains the information that has to be transferred to the other data to be sent to these browsers. The HTTP method includes or simply HTTP verbs that are the HTTP actions that has to be performed. There are generally four HTTP methods: get, put, post, and delete. The get method is used to access some information from the server. The post method is used to provide some information to the server. The put method is used to insert an information into the server, and the delete method is used to delete the information in the server. The HTTP response model includes the HTTP response from the server to the client. It includes the HTTP status code, HTTP headers, and HTTP body. The HTTP response headers are simply HTTP requests with where it has to work to send some important file and data to the HTTP response body. The HTTP response body are responsible for receiving successful upon request. Generally, it comes under requests generated by the web. In most cases, the request is to transfer HTML data into a web page. These are the HTTP status codes. The 100 series codes indicates it as an informational codes. The 200 series code indicates it as a successful code. The 300 series codes indicate it is a redirectional code. And the 400 series code indicates it as a client error. And the 500 series indicates a server error. Let us see the characteristics of HTTP. The HTTP protocol is platform independent, meaning that it can work on any operating systems. The HTTP protocol is compatible with various protocols and technologies. The HTTP protocol is optimized for its performance and it has greater efficiency. The HTTP protocol lacks its security and it is vulnerable to attacks like man in middle. The HTTP protocol cannot be used for sending large data as it can be slow at times. As mentioned, the HTTP protocol is a stateless protocol and requires an additional mechanism like cookies for maintaining the states. Thank you.